Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and in this video I'm going to show you how I use my Swift. Right here, as you can see, as I tip it, it hooks onto the bottom of my table. So you're going to want a thin-lipped table, just like the yarn winder does. They both have turning mechanisms underneath them so that you can securely attach them to a table. That is very important, that aspect of it. I'm going to try to drop it down. Next, you are going to push the bottom of your Swift up to approximately desired width, and then I turn this screw right there. And this tightens it. All right, now, this is the hank. As you can see, it's twisted up and folded into itself. And you open it up into a big circle, and you loosely stretch the yarn out over your Swift, as you can see right here. Now, right here you'll see there's some yarn. For some reason, and I don't really know why, they have to weave some yarn in and out of the hank, maybe to keep it separated. So you're going to want to cut that part off. Now, as you can see, these two big strips came out because this is the beginning and the end. I'm going to try to figure out, cut the rest of these, get my tags out. There you go. There's another one right here. I'm getting these out. Here's another one right here. Some of them will only have 2, some will have 3, but you got to cut this yarn because you can see it's just little bits used to tie it up. Throw it aside. Now, this looks like it comes out from the underneath side. So what I do is I take this other yarn and I kind of like loosely loop it around one of the arms on my Swift. So that way this yarn is not flopping around while I am caking. And then I just spun it just a little bit to find out, yep, for sure this bit is on the outside. So then you come over here to hopefully your stand but really any other type of yarn winder, and thread it however you do. For mine, the stand has a little eye that you poke through, and then you have this cone up here, and then, oh, there's more. It just came out. I actually have never Swifted on this side, but I was hoping it would make a better video, that you would be able to see it better. And then, hot tamales. There we go. Through the eye, through the twisty thing, and into the slot. Very fancy words. There we go. And now, I'm going to hopefully hold this back so you can see. Now I start winding. And the Swift turns. Now, I like to hold the yarn for a little tension. And basically the Swift holds your yarn to the desired circumference, or in a circle, so that you can wrap it, and it just spins around as you wind. That's all there is to it. I think the hardest thing is trying to get your yarn to go through all the loops, whoops, on your yarn winder. I think I have this backwards over here. There we go. Okay, and then when you stop, it stops spinning. That's it. Why is this so fun? I don't know. I think I just like it spinning. But I mean, this is pretty much the way you have to do it. My husband has been kind enough in the past to stand with his arms stretched out and the yarn looped around his arms as I ball it or cake it. But to be honest, one, he said his arms got hot because he's got all that wool over his arms. And two, you can pretty much at this point go at your own pace and the Swift just follows along. When my husband was doing it, the poor guy had to keep moving his arms up and around, and this can take about 5 or 6 minutes. And for him, you know, that probably wasn't the greatest 5 minutes he had, you know, and he was kind of bored of it. You got to keep your arms out for that whole time. So that is the beauty of a Swift. Now, I've heard when I was reading my comments that some of you folks have an Amish yarn thing, which I'm going to look up because apparently you can use a device that the Amish have to cake your yarn after it's been in a hank. So I'll look into that and see what that's like. But this is it. Now, I don't typically have a lot of yarn that comes in hanks. Most of my yarn comes from Walmart, Joann's, or Hobby Lobby, and that's all pretty much regularly already in skeins for you. And I do take the skeins and put them into cakes, as you see, but they're not all stretched out like the hank is. Typically, if you go to a specialty yarn shop, somewhere where they have, you know, more merinos and wools and fingering weight and sock yarn, those are what's going to come in a hank. And also, if you have a knit crate subscription, the yarn that comes in the knit crate also comes in hanks. So that is when you would need a Swift, is if you're someone who tends to use a lot of the fine wools, because when they're dyeing the yarn, they have to put it in these big circles in order to distribute the color evenly amongst or in the pattern that they want. And so after they have them in these big circles, then they just twist them up and put them in the hank. So I would say I crocheted for a good couple of years before I even ever had fancy enough wool that needed one of these. And now that I have the knit crate, every month I get 2. And every once in a while I go on a yarn acquisition trip with someone and I'll buy some. Okay, so it stopped because right here is where I looped my yarn around this arm or this branch. And that's it. That is all there is to it. You can loosen this, put it down, close up your Swift, and then I take the tag of my yarn that was on there, and I fold these up just so that if you're not going to use this right away, this has it, it's a Malabrigio, it's an Aro, pure merino wool, it's the yardage, it's everything that you need. I fold it up and I put it right here so that when I slide my cake up off the cone, it's all tucked right in there. Isn't that beautiful? Look at how beautiful that yarn is. So I have one more of these, and then I put it up here with my fancy yarn. I have so many mandala cakes that they're sneaking up into my fancy yarn section. But this is my wools right here. But that's it, friends. That's how you use a Swift right here. This one was a knitpicks Swift that was ordered for me, and it was $69. But otherwise, there's quite a few on Amazon, quite a few varieties that you can get from anywhere from $30, $35, $40, up to $55, $60, even $70. I do recommend getting the wooden ones. They have plastic ones. They have metal ones with plastic tubes over them. Just read the reviews. A lot of people are very honest and say how good their product was on Amazon. Otherwise, I've never seen one in a yarn shop, and I haven't seen any at my Hobby Lobby or Joann's. So the place for me to get this, well, aside from my birthday, is off of Amazon, or you can order it straight from the knitpicks catalog. But that's all I have. That is all I have in this video on how to cake a hank. Thanks for watching. Until then, happy crafting.